Welcome to HCN, Heaven's Glow Church News. And as always, we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch us. We hope that the information that we give you is both informational and will also draw you closer to Christ. Well, to our question of the week, we have with us Pastor Simona Mills-Pitcher. Pastor Mills-Pitcher is the music director for the Bermuda Conference, and she has big plans for us at camp meeting. Now, Pastor Mills-Pitcher is a new person on our team. She will be the person that will be answering the questions of the week. Now, if you tune in and she's not with us, that's because she will be with her baby that particular day. She is a new mom. Now, Pastor Mills-Pitcher, how old is your baby?
He is 7 months yesterday.
7 months yesterday. What is he doing? Is he talking?
What is he not doing? What he's not doing is sitting still. What he's not doing is staying where mommy puts him. But he's moving around. He's crawling, starting to crawl. Looks like he's trying to stand. So that's just awesome, and making lots of joyful noise. So it's great.
Pastor Mills-Pitcher was telling me before we came on that she started singing to her son while he was in the womb. And when she and her husband Troy, when they have worship, they sing a song for him after the adult worship. So probably in a few years we will see him like his mother, maybe music director for the Bermuda Conference.
That'd be awesome.
Now, Pastor Mills-Pitcher, share with us some of your ideas and thought for the music for camp meeting.
Well, for as my custom has been in the past years, but this year I'm excited to have a mass choir for both the adults and the youth. So what that means that everyone in the congregations and all the local churches, the Adventist churches, you can go talk to your minister of music and give them your name, give them your information, and they'll get that to me, or call the conference office at 292-4110.
Yes.
Yeah. And talk to my lovely right-hand person, administrator, that is Lynette Alboy. Give the names, and we are getting together and having both teens and youth, and then the adults. So if you don't fall in the teen and youth category, just come on over to me, and we're doing a mass choir, and we're just going to sing together, lift up the Lord together on Sabbath mornings, on both mornings.
Very, very good. Very
both
good.
places. So yeah.
Now to the question, Pastor Mills-Pitcher. We got this question from individual who I believe is not a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but let me read the background from where the question comes from. This is taken from the King James Version, Exodus 20, verses 8 to 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Now here's his question, Pastor Mills-Pitcher. What are practical things that can be done on the Sabbath? The individual said, I know the Sabbath is holy, but that's not telling me what I can or cannot do. So how would you respond to that question?
It's a great question, by the way. So thank you for that question, sending that in. Sometimes we get caught up on the holiness of the Sabbath and the thou shalt nots of the Sabbath, and don't really dive into what the Sabbath really means. When the Sabbath is supposed to be a delight. And what we can do, some practical things, especially from Friday when the sun is setting on Friday evening, we don't pay attention to that. So here's something you can do. Right an hour before sunset, figure out when sunset's going to be. An hour before sunset, there's an anticipation. What I do is I have one of those candles that flick on, that come on on a timer 1 hour before sunset. So I'm preparing, I'm cooking, I'm getting things together, getting the house together. But when I see that candle come on, there's like an anticipation in my heart, like, whoa, whoa, okay, there's a special event about to happen, and that's the Sabbath about to come in. And so what I do is my husband will come home, we'll rush, and when I see when that candle is becoming the predominant light of the house, I do that on purpose.
That's how the sun is going down.
The sun is starting to go down, and that candle is starting to brighten the corner of the house, that area of the house. It's almost a time to just stop. We'll sit down. Sometimes we'll sit outside, and we'll just say, welcome. We'll just say this: God, thank you so much for being the God that you are and for preparing this Sabbath for it. This is practical, literally talking to God about thanking him for this time and this moment of rest. After we do that, we'll kind of sing a few songs together. My husband can sing really low, very low. He's awesome. And so we'll sing together a couple of songs. And then after that, we do something called blessings. What that is, we'll talk about how was your week? What were some of your challenges in the week? We're not talking about the job. We're not talking about the nuances of the week and getting into what bills we have to pay and those kinds of things. Not that kind of talk. It's what challenged your Christianity this week?
Yes, yes.
What challenged you? And I might say, man, I don't understand how some people can be so evil at times and still survive and still look like they're getting ahead in life. And then my husband will say, okay, blessing time, and turn to Psalm 37. Where it says, the evildoers, I think I have it up, but no, I don't have it up yet. But the evildoers seem as if they're prospering. And all this stuff is happening. And he'll do this, prospering, and all of this is happening. But when you come to the house of God.
I am going to do that this Sabbath.
Okay.
Just before I left to come here, my wife was saying the same thing to me.
Mercy.
Why is it that bad people seem to prosper? She said, where is God? I am upset with God.
Well, hey, Psalm 37, pull that bad boy out. and what he basically does, and he basically reminds me that, listen, the Lord laughs at the wicked because they don't understand. You know, you can laugh along with the Lord, embrace it, because they don't understand what's going to happen to them in the end if they don't embrace God themselves. And so he speaks, I say nothing. He does his blessing. And then he'll tell me his challenges. And then I'll find something in the Bible. And it's fun because you're looking for something for that week to bring for the Sabbath. And then I'll breathe into him how he's awesome. And I'll read something from Psalms, a little risque, but I'll read something. Reminding him, you know, from the wife perspective to the husband, and just reminding him that he is the strength of me.
Yes.
And just speak blessings into his life. And then we'll probably just say a prayer, or we might read something from the Desire of Ages, or we'll read something interesting, just a quote, talk about it. And then we'll sing, and then we'll tell God, thank you again. Yeah. And then by then it's dark. Yeah. And then we might go off and have a light snack. Okay, sometimes we do eat real heavy, but we'll have a light snack, and then we'll prepare ourselves for bed and get ready for Sabbath with the saints.
Very good.
But it's awesome. I know sometimes we forget that Sabbath really begins that Friday evening. And then, you know, the Bible says, don't forsake the assembly of the brethren. Yes. So going to church is so important in our Christian walk. It helps celebrate the Sabbath. It gives that opportunity to speak into the life of others in church. And so you can do that, embrace that. So for the person that sent us the question, visit a church, visit one of our churches, and enjoy the singing, the prayer, the gift of giving, and all of that. Just, it's so much awesomeness rolled into one moment, that just having church. And then afterwards you can prepare to say goodbye to the Sabbath until we meet again. And you can do that again with your family. You can go for a nature walk. God speaks to us through nature. So you can walk on the beach. I didn't grow up by the beach. So when I came here to Bermuda and I saw the beauty, that I just heard God in the waves, and heard God even in the people laughing, because there's always people there. But there's some parts of the beach that you just hear God and feel God, and Oh, it's so amazing. And so you can enjoy the Sabbath just saying, wow, Lord, you created the water and you told the water to stay right here and no further. Those are things you can celebrate with him. Walk. You can do it if you're single. You can do it on your own. And you can say, what do you hear? Close your eyes and what do you hear? Then imagine yourself on the day when he created the waters and the land. Picture what was in his heart and in his mind as he did these beautiful things. And then as the sun is starting to set, embrace the sunset. Tell God, I cannot wait to see you next week.
Now, Pastor Pitcher, you talked about walking along the beach. There are some individuals that I know that they say snorkeling is similar to walking on the beach, because when you are under the water, you're seeing God's nature. You're seeing the wonderful plants. You're seeing the fish that goes by. So there are some people that would say snorkeling is an activity that they feel can be done on the Sabbath. So, I'm not asking you to respond. I'm just saying that there are some people.
I like that idea. But it is, and some people may cringe at, oh my goodness, snorkeling, because of maybe the other aspects of it. You've got to go out on a tour, you probably got to pay, you got to do all that. Hey, do all those stuff before. It's awesome. Snorkeling is something I would love to do.
we have the next question. Now, in verse 10, it talks about your maidservant, your cattle, the stranger that is within your gates, not doing any work.
Yes.
The individual said, does that mean if I have a visitor in my house and the visitor works on Sabbath or Saturday, he said Saturday, the visitor works on Saturday, does that mean I should tell that visitor, if you're going to stay in my house and go to work on Saturday, you better not come?
That's okay. Well, it's all in the text itself where it says, manservant, maidservant, ox, that's in your home. If this person is a visitor, this person hasn't embraced the Sabbath or the understanding of our biblical mandate of the Sabbath, of keeping it holy and not working, doing all these kinds of things, then what you can do is help them to embrace what part of the Sabbath they can. It's unfair, and God is not by any means demanding that this person quits their job or you don't have this person visit your home. Make it so that if they're visiting, if they have to go to work on Sabbath, they're probably not working the whole day. Maybe at breakfast time, bless them with a piece of what you understand Sabbath to be. And then they go off to work, and then they come back. Let them embrace how you close the Sabbath. If they're working the whole 24 hours and you don't get an opportunity to practically show them a picture of what their life can be if they would embrace the Sabbath. So you're not breaking God's law by having this person who's visiting in your house go to work, allowing them to go to work. I mean, this is what they have embraced. But find a way to allow them, like when they come home and they want to get something to eat. No, we've got your dinner already.
Yes.
Or if they want to do the dishes, the maid will do that. Let the maid, we have maids, and when they look around, when the sun sets, you become the maids. And you now wash the dishes for them. Do those things for them and help them embrace just even a little bit of the Sabbath. And you're well within honoring what God has said for the fourth commandment of just not having anyone in your grounds work. So you're actually embracing that person and helping them along.
Thank you, Pastor Mills Pitcher. We've been talking with Pastor Mills Pitcher, and she is the pastor that will be answering the questions of the week. Please send your questions or comments to heavensglow@yahoo.com. Again, send your questions or comments to heavensglow@yahoo.com. We will be right back. Welcome back. Our guest this week is Laverne Eve, and she has an exciting, amazing blessing to share with us. But before we get there, we'll talk about some things else. Welcome, Laverne.
Thank you.
Thank you for being an HCN.
Thank you very much.
Now, have you always been a Seventh-day Adventist?
No, I have not.
Now, how did you get attracted to the Seventh-day Adventist Church?
My daughter, Teresa Francis, she started Bermuda Institute at the age of 8.5.
8.5.
And when she got to high school, one of her teachers, Joseph Roberts, he invited her to come to church. And that's how it started. And then she invited me to come. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't think I would, people going to church on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I, started going with her. So it was actually my daughter.
Yeah. Now,
that gave me the opportunity to come.
Would you have considered yourself a religious person? Did you go to church on Sunday fairly
Yes,
well?
I did.
Okay. So in the back of your mind, you were already a committed Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in terms of the Sabbath, did you have any challenges with now going to church on Saturday and keeping Saturday holy, doing and not doing some things?
No, I did not find it difficult because I enjoyed going to church.
Yeah.
So there was not as difficult as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And my daughter always said, well, it's sunset now. We get ready for church. We get the house prepared. And it became easy. It wasn't difficult.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, your daughter, I'm hearing you say some of the things that she would tell you. So did she become a Seventh-day Adventist from attending Bermuda Institute?
Yes, she did.
Wow.
When she was in grade 10.
Yeah. Now, just let me bring that out. A non-Seventh-day Adventist attended Bermuda Institute. How old was she when she started coming to
8.5.
At 8.5, and then became a Seventh-day Adventist at grade 10, and also was influential in bringing her mother into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Now, Laverne, you gave a testimony at Restoration last Sabbath, and I was really struck and impressed with that testimony because God did something very, very special for you. What was that?
Okay, last April 2013, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I had to go through 2 surgeries, chemotherapy, and radiation. So my treatment started in June, went right through to October for chemotherapy, and then I went abroad to Huntsville for radiation from November until the end of January.
Did you have the surgery first, then chemo?
Yes, I had the surgery first, then chemo, and then the radiation.
Now, when you heard that news in terms of stage 3 cancer, what went through your head?
It was like someone kicked me in the stomach and just the air ran out of me. I was just in total shock. And when the doctor says, Miss Eve, you have breast cancer, I said, no, I don't. I was just in total denial. And he just stopped me quickly, says, I've been doing this job for 20 years and I know what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. So it was a shock, but I didn't realize how strong I was, because when I always used to see the cancer commercials on TV, I said, how would I react if someone told me that I had cancer, not knowing in 2 months' time that actually happened? Mm-hmm. I took it in stride. I wasn't as upset as I thought I might have been, and it proved how God can make you a strong person when you have to go through something like this. You don't know how strong you can be until it happens.
Yeah. Now, what was it that God did for you? What has God done for you?
He has made me be a true believer that if you trust in Him, things would work out for you. I always said my prayers at evening time, but it was just that I was praying more, and He just proved to me that a person don't know what they can do until it happens to them.
Now, today, is there any cancer?
No, I'm in remission, so I'm cancer-free.
Cancer-free. You might not know this, but you and I, we have a common bond. Mm-hmm. I was diagnosed with colon cancer a number of years ago. Had an operation, had chemo, had radiation. Even now, I go to the doctor every 6 months and have my blood tested. Now, one of the things I would say, and when my wife hears this, she will say, "Why did you say that?" One of the things I would tell my family and my friends, of course I want to be healed, but more importantly, when you pray for me, pray that my life is right with God.
With God.
That's the main thing that I wanted my friends and family to do when I was faced with having cancer. Now, when someone has a disease like cancer, when you had it, how did it impact your relationship with God? Did you feel, well, I better be closer to God because I may die, or?
I must admit, I went home and I said a prayer and I said, Lord, I just ask that whatever your will is, I ask that you let me live long enough to see my daughter graduate, from her second degree. I just ask that I can stay healthy as long as possible. I've learned to enjoy life more and not be so serious or negative.
Yeah.
That you don't realize your life can be snuffed out at any moment. So you just learn to relax more and really enjoy the simple pleasures in life.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I invited you and I wanted you to give that testimony, because I think as individuals hear what God has done for you, stage 3 cancer, if God had not intervened, you may not have been here today. And when they hear your testimony in terms of what God has done for them, they may not be going through cancer, but they may be going through a difficult time. And they can say, if God did that for Laverne, He can do something for me. And I truly, truly appreciate the testimony that you have given. And I'm sure that someone listening, someone watching, that you've inspired them to come closer to God. Now, as you go day by day, in the back of your mind, do you carry a thought, what if it comes back, or will it come back?
I guess we always, back of our mind, think, will it come back? And my prayer is that it never comes back.
Yeah.
But if it does, I would just have to continuously pray and rise to the occasion and say, I'm going to beat this. I feel when you have any sort of disease, you have to try your best to remain positive. And I think that's what helped me as well. Like, I was never really down in the dumps about it, which I surprised myself. I just said, I have to beat this, so I have to remain positive.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped.
Laverne, thank you so much for
You're
sharing your
welcome.
testimony with us. And thank you for watching HCN Heaven's Glow Church News, and we will see you next time.